Hello, Stephanie. I received your video, and here is my video response to it. Now, I know it wasn't really your video, you were just sending it along, but whoever made that video, I'm giving a response. Alright, I'm going to tell you what sin really is, and I don't care what they said in that video, they're just a bunch of hooey-hooeys, as far as I'm concerned. Alright, now what is real sin? Well, let me explain how sin actually works, as opposed to what they were saying, well, even priests can't explain it. Well, they didn't read the Bible too well. I did. Let me tell you something. I can explain it perfectly. Alright. Let's put you in the role of God, and let's say you build a robot. Okay? So, you build a robot, and this robot immediately goes out and worships somebody else, praises somebody else for building him instead of you. Well, how long are you going to tolerate that? You'll go up that robot and disassemble him. Alright. Now, let's say you build this robot, and this time the robot, hey, I'll worship you. But I'm going to make a picture of you, and I'm going to worship you in my own way. Okay, so the robot goes out and he makes this butt-ugly picture of you, showing all your limitations. And you take a look at this picture, you're like, man, you're going to worship that over me? We're not having that. Alright, number 3. Let's say your little robot says, hey, I'll worship you. And then he walks out the door after you just built him, and he says, I'm cursing you, like the Wiccans and Satan worshippers do. They go out and they curse people all over the freaking place. If somebody ticks them off, they curse them. Only this robot is using your name to curse people, placing a hex on them. Well, how long are you going to tolerate that? Not very long, I can tell you that right now. Alright, so you go out and you build yet another robot. Now, you've taken the first 3 and thrown them in the trash because they were that disobedient, but you take this 4th robot, you build it up. And it says, hey, don't worry, I will not curse anybody. I promise you, I will worship you and only you, and I won't draw any horrid pictures of you, nothing like that. So then he goes out and he just works his behind off, which is kind of nice. Except he works his behind off 7 days in a row for a very short period of time, wears his parts out and falls to pieces very quickly. Well, that robot ain't going to be worth nothing there. Now, granted, you didn't have to disassemble him. He disassembled himself. But he's still junked. Alright, so you say, man, this is getting ridiculous. So now you build a robot not a factory, but a robot family. Okay, you got a daddy robot, a mommy robot, and this little kid robot. And the mommy and daddy robot, they love you. They worship you. They don't make bad pictures of you. They don't curse people in your name, so on and so forth. But then they have this little bratty kid, and he just goes out all over the place, and he's just a total disobedient, not only to these robot parents, but also to you. How long are you going to tolerate that? No. You'll grab that bratty kid, and you'll disassemble him. So you say, oh, I'll just build another kid for these wonderful parents. These parent robots have been doing so well. I had to disassemble this one kid because he's just being a brat. I'll build another one for him. So you build this second kid. And the second kid one night sneaks into his parents' bedroom and totally disassembles both parents, destroying them. Well, how long are you going to put up with that? You'll take that bratty little kid and you'll rip him apart. Okay, so you put the parents back together, because after all they're just robots, you put them back together, and you put together another kid for them. And then you take this kid and you put him in a factory, and you tell him, I want you to start making cars for me, because I'm going to sell these cars for a profit to pay for the parts that are keeping you and your parents fully functional. So this bratty little kid, instead of building cars, he starts building toasters. Well, how long are you going to put up with that? Not long. So you disassemble that kid, you build him yet another kid, you put the kid in the factory, and this time he's building the cars. Alright, so he goes out, he builds the cars, and without exhausting himself, he goes out and he also sells the cars for you. You're thinking, man, this is great. And the parent robots are so proud. Only thing is that this little kid robot starts taking the money that has been made from the selling of these cars. It starts pocketing it and never gives it to you. Basically, he turns out to be a thief. Well, how long are you going to put up with that? Not long. So you disassemble that robot. And then you build up another robot. And you give it to the parents. And of course the robot, he worships you, he respects his parents, he goes out to the factory and he makes sure that his parents are taken care of, so he's not destroying his parents, and he goes out and he builds the cars instead of the toasters, he makes sure that you get all the money that you're supposed to get, so on and so forth. But then you send this little kid to the store. So instead of going to the store, he goes to an auto parts dealership and finds some of those scrap parts for himself. And when he comes back, you say, well, did you go to the store? And he says, yep, they didn't have what you wanted. And you knew that the store had what you wanted. How long are you going to put up with a lying brat like that? Not long. So you disassemble that kid and you put together yet another robot. Well, then you have this robot. He doesn't steal from you. He doesn't destroy the family you built. He doesn't build toasters. He builds the cars you've asked him to build. He doesn't lie to you at all. He doesn't do any bad thing whatsoever. The problem is he's thinking about doing all these bad things. He's not actually doing them, but he's thinking about them. And he ponders on this all day long. Well, how long are you going to put up with that? So you erase his little mind, you put a new one in, and he's fine. Well, that basically covers the sins. Let me tell you something. Sin is doing an activity or even thinking about doing an activity that separates yourself from those who love you the most and whom you love the most. That's a sin. But there is one more, and it's found in the book of James, when it says, if you know to do something that is good, and you doeth it not, it is also sin. So, let's say you have somebody in your prayer group, and he's had his house robbed, and you have an ability to buy him another coffee pot, so you pray over the fact that he doesn't get robbed again, but here you are with the ability to buy him another coffee pot, and you refuse to do so. Well, yeah, that's going to be in God's favored book then. Let me tell you something. When you have an opportunity to love those that you love the most, and then they can receive that love and then share that love back with you, and you don't do it, that's sin. So that is sin in a nutshell. All right. I will talk about more in a future video, so stay tuned.